Hey, what's up, everyone? I know this is going to annoy a lot of people. No, this is not a video regarding any type of change to something or anything like that. It's just some pet peeves of mine that I want to share. And I thought I would talk about it and see if anyone else is annoyed by that. My first is VIN. Something that annoys me is when people say VIN number. And I know there are those out there it probably annoys as well. There are a few things that annoy me quite a bit, and people are just like, "Well, you focus on stupid things," and I'm like, "Well, I'm OCD about that. I'm obsessive. I can't help that. I mean, it's in me." And they'll say, "Well, that's stupid. I don't care. I'll say it how I want to say it." Everyone I've spoken to about it say, "I just say it how I want to say it, and I really don't care what people think." And I'm like, "Well, that's fine." But for example, my father, he was supposed to have, because the company is switching over, they're supposed to change their trucks, and the new company is, which I don't know if they're any good, but they claim they'll have better benefits, they claim they'll have better pay, they claim all this stuff, but everyone talks of good game, but can they actually play it out? I don't know. I hope they do. We're hoping and praying it's better. But he said they were supposed to have gotten the VIN numbers. I said, the VINs? And he said, the VIN numbers. Yeah, the VIN numbers. And I said, the VIN? And he said, whatever. The VIN number. And I said, you're saying vehicle identification number. And that bothers me. I know, it's a 17 character code that represents unique to your vehicle. But it just bothers me. It bothers me when people say that. The new company was supposed to have gotten the VINs to the vehicle. And every time we ever had our vehicle at the which they're ending that. They ended it February. They ended it in February. The vehicle emissions testing. They say, "What's your VIN number?" And I'm just like, the VIN is, and it's, or I don't know what it is. They couldn't scan it, so they had to look in the computer system. They tried to scan the barcode, but it's just, anyway. That's one of my pet peeves. I'll go ahead and share it. That's one of my annoyances. That's one of my, yeah, that's one thing that annoys me. A lot of them will say, "What's your VIN?" They won't say VIN number. So I like it when they don't say that double word. That's pet peeve number one. Another pet peeve of mine, pet peeve number two, is when people say PIN number. You'll call up the bank or you'll call and talk to someone. They'll say, "Okay, what's your PIN number?" Or just go on there, type in your PIN number. Or when you're using the ATM, that's another thing that annoys me. You'll find out that in a moment. But they'll say PIN number. And there was a whole sketch of that when I happened to turn it over on TV. And Eugene Levy and his son Dan Levy were in a sketch on their show Schitt's Creek, spelled with a SCH, the name of this place. And on that particular show, they had Eugene Levy say, it's PIN, it's not PIN number, it's PIN. And he'd say, "I don't care. Do you want me to draw this money out or not?" And he'd say, "Well, yeah, but just say PIN number." And he went, "It's PIN number. I say PIN number." And he said, "I don't care. It's PIN. It's PIN." And he said, "No, it's PIN number if I want to call it that." And he said, "Okay, fine." And then he went on to say the next thing that annoys me. Basically, it's if your personal. You wouldn't say vehicle. Give me your vehicle identification number for VIN. And you wouldn't say, "Give me your personal identification number." You wouldn't say that. It's PIN, not PIN number. So that's number two. Number three, pet peeve number three, is when someone states ATM machine. An ATM is an automated teller machine, not an automated teller machine. But we've heard these things so many times we think it's normal. And even in Ariana Grande's song Seven Rings, Diamonds, ATM machines. Buy myself all of my favorite things. Okay. You'd think she would know not to say ATM machines. Automated teller machines. That's another one. An ATM, which stands for Automated Teller Machine. It's a specialized computer that makes it convenient to manage a bank account holder's funds. You can take the digital representation of cash out for the physical representation or a dollar bill, usually in the form of 20s. At the ATM, usually in the form of $20 bills, taken out from your bank account, so you don't have to use the card. And that is an automated teller machine, an ATM, not an ATM machine. And that's another one that annoys me a lot. That's my third pet peeve, I guess you'd say, in this list. So, which one annoys you most in this list? Let me know, if at all, if it even matters at all to you. But when I try to correct my parents on that, they're like, I don't. Sometimes they'll say that, and they'll say, I don't care. I'll say, we're going to the ATM. They'll say, did you go to they said, he'll ask if the ATM machine worked. And I'm like, it's ATM. But they don't do that as often as they used to. But people will say, go to the ATM. And other people will say, go to the ATM machine. And it just still makes me twitch or cringe. I don't know why. That is number 3. So, VIN, PIN, and ATM. Those are 3 that are the correct way, not VIN number, PIN number, and ATM machine. So, those are 3. And people even type in ATM machine for sale when searching it on Google. And you'd think they would know better. And especially just, never mind. Anyway, ATM machine. Why does machine suddenly look strange? The spelling of machine looks weird. I don't know why. Huh. Weird. Anyway. Even in this song right here. Right here. 7 rings. Right there. Lashes and diamonds. ATM machines. Buy myself all of my favorite things. Yeah. So. Yeah. Breakfast at Tiffany's and bottles of bubbles. Girls with tattoos who like getting in trouble. Lashes and diamonds, ATM machines. Buy myself all of my favorite things. It's not ATM machines, it's ATM. So, ATMs, not ATM machines. Anyway, that's number 3.
So like this says right here, you know what really grinds my gears? I'll tell you what really grinds my gears. When people say ATM machine. I mean, what do you think the M stood for? Moo cow? Moon? Monopoly guy? Man? The ATM man? No, it stands for ATM. Automated teller machine. So, it is what it is, which is another thing that annoys people like Jerry Seinfeld and myself. It is what it is, people! It is what it is! Who says it is what it is? I mean, think about it. You know, you say it is what it is. No, I thought it was what it wasn't. I mean, it makes no sense. But you know what really grinds my gears? PIN numbers, VIN numbers, and ATM machines. It's VIN, PIN, and ATM. So, remember, say it right, folks. And that is what really grinds my gears. Yeah.
Number 4. When people say, I could care less. When someone says, I could care less, that one annoys. Whenever I correct my parents and they say that annoys them a lot. I'll say, well, that means you must care a little bit. That means you care a little bit. And they'll say, no, look, I don't care how it really is. I don't care what people say. I say it how I say it. And I'm like, yeah, I guess it's not the end of everything if you say it that way. It's not like it really matters substantially. But grammatically, usually my parents will say, well, why don't you just become an English teacher? That's usually the response that people give me. But I could care less. Well, that must mean you care a little. It must mean you care a little. You could care less. If you could care less than what you do, then you care a little. I mean, if you're not going to go to a person and say they could work less, they could work less. That means that they work too much and they could work less. They could pay less. They could pay less. Well, that means that they could pay the people less. That means they could pay them less. And that means they pay too much, or they could pay less if they wanted to. But when someone says, I could care less, but you're saying you don't care at all, you don't want to hear about it, well, that means, but you're saying it grammatically like you do care a little. So please stop saying, I couldn't care less. I could care less. That's my number one pet peeve. Top 4. PIN, VIN, ATM, and couldn't care less. You're supposed to say, I couldn't care less, meaning that I could not care less than what I do. Like, I don't, like, you care zero. Nada. Zilch, zip, zero. Nope, not a zilch, zip, zero. Not a zilch. That sounds like not a zilch or nada, but zilch. Huh? Two different words, but yet. Anyway, you don't care at all. Couldn't care less. Now, they treat couldn't care less and could care less as synonyms, but meaning not concerned or not interested at all, but one does not even mean the same thing as the other. But a lot of people make this big mistake. So, just thought I'd share that. That's my number one pet peeve. Is number 4 on the list, but probably number 1. One couldn't care less is when people say could care less. All right, that's my main one. If I think of any more, I'll let you know. But that's all for this video. That's my top 4 pet peeves that people say. All right, or little annoyances that people say. Peace, signing out, and much love anyway, regardless. I just wanted to share some phrases that annoy me.